The Apple iPhone 16 is finally coming with a feature that we've all been waiting for, making it Apple's best iPhone yet. Now before we get started, let me know in the comments who out there is waiting for the iPhone 16, and don't forget to subscribe to stay up to date with the latest tech. So first up, before we get into the iPhone news, I know you guys in the USA can have expensive phone contracts, and I had an email advising of a new SIM deal with unlimited calls and texts along with 5GB of 5G data for just $15 a month. So I've placed a link down in the description below for any of you that want to go and check it out. But now back to the iPhone 16, and first up, as we hear every year, BOE are having issues with light leakage on the iPhone 15 panels, which means they're unlikely to be supplying the displays for the iPhone 16, at least in the initial stages. Samsung displays produce the displays for the Pro models, and then cheaper display manufacturers are used for the non-Pro models, but it seems BOE fail to meet Apple's quality checks every single year. Now, we've also had confirmation from Revegnus that both the iPhone 16 and the iPhone 16 Plus are going to be sticking to LTPS 60Hz displays, and to be honest, this was always likely to be the case, as those who want higher specs can just opt for the Pro model. Next up, we've got news that none of the iPhone 16 models are going to come with a mute switch, and even the non-Pro models are going to be getting an upgrade to the new action button. Now, there were previously rumors of the iPhone 16 using capacitive touch buttons instead of physical buttons, but this is no longer the case due to unresolved technical issues. Now, the new action button is great for customization, and I just hope that even more customization is added in a newer iOS so we can have more options like long hold or double tap for different features. Now, when it comes to camera upgrades, we've also got confirmation that the iPhone 16 Pro and the iPhone 16 Pro Max are going to be getting an upgrade to a 48-megapixel ultra-wide camera for higher resolution and more detail, and we're also going to be seeing the 5x tetraprism lens on the iPhone 16 Pro. Revegnus has also tweeted to say that Apple is working on its own in-house ISP to further improve the camera capabilities of the iPhone. Next up, we've got great news on the displays, and both models are not only getting a larger display, but also a much better one. Now, the smaller iPhone 16 is now going to be coming in at 6.3 inches, and then the larger iPhone 16 Pro Max is coming in at 6.9 inches. And according to reliable display analyst Ross Young, they're also going to have a taller aspect ratio as part of this change. Now, the iPhone 16 Pro models will of course be 120Hz LTPO displays, and we're just waiting for confirmation if the non-Pro models are also going to be getting the increase in display size, or if they're going to stick to the old sizes. Now, the iPhone 16 Pro models are also going to be using a new OLED material set from Samsung Displays, and it's one that's been specifically designed for Apple. The previous iPhones used the M12 OLED set, but the new M14 set is being designed for the iPhone, and it's reportedly got a big focus on the panel's efficiency, and it's going to further aid better battery life on the iPhones. On top of the more efficient displays, we've got plenty of news about a new battery, and a prototype has already been discovered for the iPhone 16. Now, the battery prototype is 2.5% larger than its predecessor, but the new battery has a metal shell to improve heat dissipation, and the new iPhone 16 battery is going to use a graphene thermal system to reduce overheating of the battery and further improve its performance, and it's something that Apple have been working towards for quite some time now, and it appears that we're finally going to see it with the iPhone 16. Another great feature for the iPhone 16 is going to be the ability to sideload applications instead of being restricted to Apple's App Store only, and this feature will in fact come before the launch of the iPhone 16, and it's expected in the first half of 2024. Now, it's all thanks to pressure from the European Union, and I think overall it's a positive thing, as those of you that don't want to sideload apps don't have to, and those that want to can. Now, not only that, but it could also add some vulnerabilities for those that want to jailbreak their iPhone, but we're going to have to wait and see. Now, for those of you excited for the iPhone 16 series, we're now going to run through the full specs, design, and the expected pricing for each model to help you guys decide which one is right for you. For my regular viewers, you guys have seen this, so just skip to the next video, but if you're new here, then hit subscribe now and we'll get right into it. So first up, we have the standard iPhone 16. With the standard iPhone 16, we get a 6.3-inch OLED display, but unfortunately, this is still going to be an LTPS display. The iPhone 16 is going to have a taller aspect ratio than last year, and it's going to be protected by Ceramic Shield 2. We get the new Dynamic Island, which covers up the 12-megapixel selfie camera and Face ID sensors. Then on the rear, we've got a 12-megapixel primary camera and a 12-megapixel ultra-wide. It's powered by the A18 chipset, and it's likely coming with 6GB of RAM and up to 512GB of storage. It's also powered by a 3450 mAh battery with 30W fast charging, and it's going to come with advanced 5G, Bluetooth 5.3 and Wi-Fi 7. Now it will of course ship with iOS 18 and is expected to launch from around $850 in September 2024. Now next up we've got the iPhone 16 Plus. With the iPhone 16 Plus we get a 6.9-inch OLED display, and again unfortunately this is another LTPS display. It's got a taller aspect ratio than its predecessor and is protected by Ceramic Shield 2. We get the new dynamic island, which covers up the 12-megapixel selfie cameras and Face ID sensors. Then on the rear we've got a 12-megapixel primary camera and a 12-megapixel ultra-wide. It's powered by the A18 chipset, and it's likely going to come with a choice of 6GB of RAM and up to 512GB of storage. It's powered by a 4420 mAh battery with 30W fast charging, and it comes with the advanced 5G, Bluetooth 5.3 and Wi-Fi 7. Now it of course ships with iOS 18 and is expected to launch from around $950 in September 24. Next up, we've got the iPhone 16 Pro. Now the iPhone 16 Pro has a 6.3-inch 120Hz LTPO OLED display. It's got a taller aspect ratio than its predecessor, and the Pro is protected by Ceramic Shield 3. We get the new dynamic island, which covers up the 12-megapixel selfie camera and Face ID sensors. Then on the rear we get a 48-megapixel primary camera, a 48-megapixel ultra-wide camera, and then we've got a 12-megapixel tetraprism camera with 5x optical zoom. It's powered by the A18 Pro chipset, and it comes with 8GB of RAM and up to 1TB of storage, and it's also powered by a 3450 mAh battery, and fast charging is still unknown at the moment, but we do expect some improvements, and of course it comes with the advanced 5G, Bluetooth 5.3 and Wi-Fi 7. It will of course ship with iOS 18 and is expected to launch from around $1,100 in September 2024. Now finally, we save the best to last, the iPhone 16 Pro Max. With the iPhone 16 Pro Max, we get a 6.9-inch 120Hz LTPO OLED display. Again, like the other phones, it's got a taller aspect ratio than its predecessor and is protected by Ceramic Shield 3. We get the dynamic island, which covers up the 12-megapixel selfie cameras and Face ID sensors. And then on the rear, we've got a 48-megapixel primary camera, a 48-megapixel ultra-wide, and a 12-megapixel tetraprism camera with 5x optical zoom. It's powered by the A18 Pro chipset. It comes with 8GB of RAM and up to 1TB of storage, and it's powered by a 4500 mAh battery. As with the 16 Pro, we don't know the fast charging at the moment, but we do expect to see some improvements. Now it comes with the advanced 5G, Bluetooth 5.3 and Wi-Fi 7, and it will of course ship with iOS 18, and this one's expected to launch around $1,300 in September 24. So overall, the iPhone 16 series is looking like a great upgrade to the lineup. The non-Pro models are getting the features to bring them up to this year's Pro models, and then of course the Pro models are being pushed even further. With more power than ever, better optimization in hardware and software, on top of all of the new AI features that Apple is working on, the iPhone 16 series is going to be an impressive lineup. Now because they do still share many similarities with their predecessors, it's probably not worth anyone with an iPhone 15 rushing for an upgrade, but for anyone with an older iPhone or looking to get their first iPhone, it's going to be a great choice. Now as we approach launch, more and more information is going to come in, and of course I'll be sharing it as soon as it does, so make sure you subscribe so you don't miss a thing in the future.